Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahawashi, Bahashem, Barak Madash. Double honors and respect to the elders and to the apostles, a great millstone. Peace and blessing to all Akim that are preaching and teaching this word with 100% truth and sincerity. And unto the men, women, and children that are listening and learning, and unto the Bayat, the Dawadah, the elect house of David that is scattered abroad, I give you my utmost and sincere salutations. Okay, this morning's lesson is going to be on the year of Jubilee. So we're going to get the book of Leviticus, chapter 25. All right, here we go. So this is Leviticus chapter 25. So it says here, the Sabbath of the 7th year, the Jubilee in the 50th year, of oppression, a blessing of obedience, the redemption of land, of houses, compassion of the poor, the usage of bondmen, and the redemption of service. Okay, so we're going to get started with Leviticus chapter 25, verse 1. And the Jubilee was a special event that was supposed to be a Sabbath for all the land during that time in the 50th year. All right. Excuse me. Let me go ahead and get into it. Leviticus chapter 25, verse 1, it says, And the Lord spake unto Moses in Mount Sinai, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, When ye come into the land which I give you, then shall the land keep a Sabbath unto the Lord. 6 years shalt thou sow thy field, and 6 years thou shalt prune thy vineyard, and gather in the fruit thereof. So 6 years, so you plant and gather of the harvest. But in the 7th year shall be a Sabbath of rest unto the land, a Sabbath for the Lord. Thou shalt neither sow the field nor prune thy vineyard. Verse 5, that which groweth of its own accord of thy harvest thou shalt not reap, neither gather grapes of thy vineyard undressed, for it is a year of rest unto the land. So you can't store anything away. Okay? Verse 6, and the Sabbath of the land shall be meat for you, for thee, and for thy servant, and for thy maid, and for thy hired servant, and for the stranger that sojourneth with thee, and for thy cattle, and for the beasts that are in the land, shall all the increase thereof be meat. Verse 8, and thou shalt number 7 Sabbaths of years unto thee, 7 times 7 years, and the space of the 7 Sabbaths of years shall be unto thee 49 years. Okay. Now, it says, then shalt thou cause the trumpet of the Jubilee to sound on the 10th day of the 7th month, which is the Day of Atonement. In the Day of Atonement shall ye make the trumpet sound throughout all your land. Because it's that yearly, it's that 50th year event. Excuse me. And ye, verse 10, and ye shall hallow the 50th year and proclaim liberty, okay, freedom, throughout all the land unto all the inhabitants thereof. It shall be a jubilee unto you, and ye shall return every man unto his possession or his land, and ye shall return every man unto his family or his tribe. A jubilee shall that 50th year be unto you. Ye shall not sow, neither reap that which groweth of itself in it, neither gather the grape in it of thy vineyard undressed. Okay. So you can't store away anything, and it's a land Sabbath, a complete rest. Okay. And with every Sabbath, no buy, sell, no trading, no working whatsoever. For it is verse 12, for it is the Jubilee, and it shall be holy unto you. Ye shall eat the increase thereof out of the field. So what's already there, you can eat. In the year of this Jubilee, ye shall return every man unto his possession. Okay, meaning return unto him what he sold unto you. Verse 14, and if thou sell, excuse me, allergies are acting up. And if thou sell unto thy neighbor, or buyest aught of thy neighbor's hand, ye shall not oppress one another. Basically, mean not to take advantage of one another, not to use one another. Verse 15, according to the number of years after the Jubilee, thou shalt buy of thy neighbor, and according to the number of years of the fruits, he shall sell unto thee. Verse 16, according to the multitude of years, this thou shalt increase the price thereof. And according to the fewness of years, thou shalt diminish the price of it. For according to the number of the years of the fruits doth he sell unto thee. So, the more years, the higher the price. The fewer years, the less the price. Because in the end, he's selling you the number of harvest. Okay. 17. Ye shall not therefore oppress one another, but thou shalt fear the Lord thy power. Fear thy power, for I am the Lord your power. Wherefore ye shall do my statutes and keep my judgments. And shall keep my judgments and do them, and ye shall dwell in the land in safety. In verse 19, and the land shall yield her fruit, and ye shall eat your fill, and dwell therein in safety. 20, and if ye shall say, what shall we eat the 7th year? Behold, we shall not sow nor gather in our increase. Then I will command my blessing upon you in the 6th year, and it shall bring forth fruit for 3 years. And ye shall sow the 8th year, and eat of old fruit. Until the 9th year, until our fruits come in, ye shall eat of the old store. So in the 6th year, shall bring forth fruit for 3 years. So during that 7th year, when it says not to gather up anything, not to store anything, we'll still be eating of that old harvest from the 6th year, and into the 8th year, and into the 9th year, we'll still be, So during that 6th year, we'll be, like the Lord said. He said, verse 20, that I will command my blessing upon you in the 6th year, and it shall bring forth fruit for 3 years. So during that 6th year, we'll have plenty of an abundance. We'll have an abundance. Okay? So even in the 9th year, we'll still be eating of the fruit from the harvest of the 6th year. Verse 23, the land shall not be sold forever, for the land is mine, for ye were strangers and sojourners with me. Verse 24, and in all the land of your possession ye shall grant a redemption for the land, a return, to be bought back. Verse 25, if thy brother be waxen poor, and hath sold away some of his possessions, and if any of his kin come to redeem it, then shall he redeem that which his brother sold. Okay, so if a brother is living in poverty, and he has to sell, like his possession, like his house, or something like that, he has to, a next of kin has to get it for him, a relative, like a family relative, like a brother, or or other relative can buy it back for him. And it says, verse 26, and if the man have none to redeem it, if he's unable to get it back himself, if the man have none to redeem it, and himself be able to redeem it. So if a relative can't redeem it for you, then you have to get it back. Then the person has to get it back for themselves. Okay. So 27. Then let him count the years of the sale thereof, and restore the overplus unto the man to whom he sold it, that he may return unto his possession. So count the number of years of the sale, for how long it's been under someone else's possession, and restore that overplus unto the man to whom he sold it, that it may return unto his possession. So you have to count the number of years, and however many years it's been another person's possession, that's how much you're going to owe in order to get back what you sold. Verse 28, but if he be not able to restore it to him, then that which is sold shall remain in the hand of him that hath bought it until the year of Jubilee. And the year of Jubilee is that, that's the time when you grant a redemption of land. You have to return it unto that person. And it says here, okay, I just read verse 28. Verse 21, and if a man sell a dwelling house in a walled city, then he may redeem it within a whole year after it is sold. Within a full year may he redeem it. So, in a walled city, if you sell your house, so you may redeem it within a whole year after it is sold. So you have 1 year. But here in verse 30 it says, and if it be not redeemed within the space of a full year, then the house that is in the walled city shall be established forever to him that bought it throughout his generations. It shall not go out in the year of Jubilee. So in a walled city, if you give up your possession to someone else, and if you're not able to get it back within that year from the time that you sold it to them, it becomes theirs. And even in the time of Jubilee, that 50th year, you can't get it back. It's theirs forever. Verse 31, but the houses of the villagers with no walls round about them shall be counted as the fields of the country. They may be redeemed. So the walled cities, they can't, houses within a walled city can't be redeemed, but those without walls, they may be treated like the field, which means they can be redeemed if sold. They may be redeemed, and they shall go out in the Jubilee. Verse 32, notwithstanding the cities of the Levites and the houses of the cities of their possession may the Levites redeem at any time. Verse 33, and if a man purchase of the Levites, then the house that was sold in the city of his possession shall go out in the year of Jubilee. For the houses of the cities of the Levites are their possession among the children of Israel. The Levites, the Lord is their inheritance, but the Levites have cities within each of the 12 tribes' own territory. Okay, there's 48 cities in total for the Levites. So the other tribes have, 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, 48. I think I did that. Yeah, I did that right. Okay. So they have 48 cities. All right, and I think okay. So 48 cities. So the Levites, those cities within the tribes, man, that's their permanent dwelling. That's their that's their possession forever. Okay, verse 34. But the field of the suburbs. Yeah, I was kind of doing the math in my head here about the cities for the Levites. Verse 34. But the field of the suburbs of their cities may not be sold, for it is their perpetual possession. Talking about the Levites. Okay, verse 35. And if thy brother be waxen poor and fallen in decay with thee, then thou shalt relieve him, yea, though he be a stranger or a sojourner, that he may live with thee. Okay, so if someone's fallen into poverty and they can't support themselves, that they can live with you. And he says right here in verse 36, take thou no usury of him, nor increase, but fear thy power, that thy brother may live with thee. Verse 37, thou shalt not give him thy money upon usury, nor lend him thy victuals for increase. So, once again, you cannot, no usury. You cannot charge them interest for living with you. you can't basically make them pay rent or so. um, okay. Verse 38. For I am the Lord your power, which brought you forth out of the land of Egypt to give you the land of Canaan, to be your God. 39. And if thy brother that dwelleth by thee be waxen poor and be sold unto thee, thou shalt not compel him to serve as a bondman. So don't treat him like a slave. And yes, there is a difference between a slave and a servant. And I'm going to do a lesson upon that later. Okay? A slave is someone who is treated rather harshly and pays tribute to their master, and they and a servant is someone, okay, hold on. So to compel him to serve as a bondservant, but as an hired servant, and as a that's verse 40. Verse 40, but as an hired servant and as a sojourner he shall be with thee, and he shall serve thee unto the year of Jubilee. Okay? So until the year of Jubilee, he can be let go. He can return back into his land and into his family, into his tribe. But slaves, they're under your household. Verse 41, but then shall he depart from thee, both he and his children with him, and shall return unto his own family, and unto the possession of his fathers shall he return. 42, for they are my servants, which I brought forth out of the land of Egypt. They shall not be sold as bondmen. Okay? Not be sold off like slaves. Thou shalt not rule, verse 43, thou shalt not rule over him with rigor, but shall fear thy power. So don't treat them harshly. Don't be unfair. Okay? Both, verse 44, both thy bondmen and thy bondmaids which thou shalt have shall be of the heathen that are round about you. Of them shall ye buy bondmen and bondmaids. So the heathen, they're in the kingdom, they're going to be our possession. Okay? In fact, let me get a precept with that. The book of Psalms. Psalms chapter 2. Psalms chapter 2, verse 7. And it says, I will declare the decree, the Lord hath said unto me, thou art my... Hold on. Yeah. This is Psalms chapter 2, verse 8. Sorry. Ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance, and the uttermost part of the earth for thy possession. Verse 9, thou shalt break them with a rod of iron, thou shalt dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel. So the heathen will be our inheritance. In fact, as I read further down into Leviticus chapter 25, it's going to tell you. In fact, let me see, where did I leave off? Verse 43. So Leviticus 25 and 43. Thou shalt not rule over him with rigor, but shall fear thy Lord, thy power. Verse 44, both thy bondmen and thy bondmaids, which thou shalt have, shall be of the heathen that are round about you. For of them shall ye buy bondmen and bondmaids. 45, moreover, of the children of strangers that do sojourn among you, of them shall ye buy, and of their families that are with you, which they beget in your land, and they shall be your possession. Verse 46, and ye shall take them as an inheritance for your children after you, to inherit them for a possession. They shall be your bondmen forever. Okay, so a servant, they serve for a certain amount of time, and they're treated fairly. But a slave is someone that you bought, and they're under your household forever. Okay? And a servant you don't treat with rigor. You don't treat them unfairly. You don't treat them harshly. Okay? But these, in the kingdom, I said before, we're not going to be nice people when these other nations are our slaves. Okay? We are not going to be nice people. We're going to be austere and strict with the law, statutes, and commandments. Okay? So they'll be thy bondmen forever, but your brethren, the children of Israel, ye shall not rule one over another with rigor. 47, and if a sojourner or a stranger wax rich by thee, and thy brother that dwelleth by him wax poor, and sell himself unto the stranger or sojourner by thee, or to the stock of the stranger's family, after that he is sold, he may be redeemed again, one of his brethren may redeem him. Either his uncle or his uncle's son may redeem him, or any that is nigh of kin unto him, or his family may redeem him, or if he be able, he may redeem himself. Okay, so if you have someone that falls under, let's say you have someone that's under you right now, a servant, and then someone else that falls under poverty, and he sells himself to that stranger or sojourner that's by thee. So if a person sells themselves to that servant that's under you, you know, only his family, relatives, or himself can buy himself, redeem himself. In verse 15 it says, and he shall reckon with him that bought him, from the year that he was sold unto him unto the year of Jubilee. And the price of his sale shall be according to the number of years, according to the time of an hired servant shall it be with him. So from the moment that he becomes a hired servant unto the year unto the year of Jubilee. If there be yet many years behind, according to them he shall give again the price of his redemption, out of the money that he was bought for. So however many years going back to the previous year of Jubilee. Verse 52, and if there remain but few years unto the year of Jubilee, then he shall count with him, and according unto his years shall he give him again the price of his redemption. So, and like I said, if they're depending on how many years that remain unto the year of Jubilee, then he shall give count how many years that is, and that's the price you pay in order to pay for his redemption. Verse 53, and as a yearly hired servant shall he be with him, and the other shall not rule with rigor over him in thy sight. So while that servant has someone else under him, you're still the supervisor over both. You have to make sure that, you know, he treats him fairly, that he treats him the same way that you treated him. Verse 54, and if he be not redeemed in these years, then he shall go out in the year of Jubilee, both he and his children with him. So if he cannot pay the price for his redemption before the year of Jubilee, he has to remain there until the year of Jubilee. Then he can be let go. Verse 55, for unto me the children of Israel are servants. They are my servants whom I brought forth out of the land of Egypt, for I am the Lord your power. Okay? So, again, the difference between a slave is an inheritance. A servant is someone who's hired for a specific time until they're able to buy themselves out, depending on how many years they've been serving, until the year of Jubilee, or count the number of years from the previous Jubilee and when they were hired. And if they are unable to pay that price, then they have to wait until the next year, the next Jubilee year. Then they can be granted that redemption to be let go and return to their land and unto their tribe. All right, like I said, that was just a lesson in the law concerning the year of Jubilee. All right, I hope that was edifying into the body and to those that are new coming and listening and learning with all sincerity. And like I said, once again, these heathen nations, Moab, Ammon, Esau, Ham, Japheth, Elam, Asher, Aram, all of these heathen nations, they're going to be our slaves. They're going to be our inheritance. You know, like what I read in Jubilee, that the bondman and bondmaid, you can buy, you know, they can be bought, and they can be an inheritance unto you and to your future generations. That's something to look forward to. All right. And with that, I'd like to give all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rachak, Radash. Double honors and respect to the elders and to the apostles, the great millstone. Peace and blessing to all Akim that are preaching and teaching this word with 100% truth and sincerity. And unto the men, women, and children that are listening and learning. And unto the Bayath Adawadah, the elect house of David that is scattered abroad. I give you my utmost and sincere salutations. See you on the next lesson, Lord willing. Kwam Yasharala, Wa Abababal, Shalom, Barakatah.